I'm Lorraine Sommerfeld, and this is the Lemonade Car Show. The first part of tonight's show is about the career opportunities in the automotive industry. Later, we'll field calls on any car-related issues and Ask a Mechanic. Lemonade is brought to you by OMVIC, that's Ontario's vehicle sales regulator, and we're produced by the Automobile Protection Association. The APA fights for you, the consumer, and provides information and news on all parts of the industry. Visit our website at apa.ca or reach us by phone at 416-204-1444. Joining me today is Joe Lauzon. He's the marketing officer at Automotive Business School of Canada, and Alan McClelland. He's the Dean of School of Transportation at Centennial College. Later in our Ask a Mechanic segment, we'll be joined by John Raymond and Chris Muir. We'll be taking your calls this evening at 800-968-7836. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
This is cool. I am really excited about this because this topic, I think, should be at the forefront of this industry, especially now when it's changing so quickly, but we don't hear a lot about it. So this is your chance to present the best of what your schools have to offer.
Awesome.
Joe, you're coming from Barrie at Georgian. Alan, you're here at Centennial in Toronto. Now, both schools offer two different sides of the industry, so to speak. So, Alan, let's start with you at Centennial, because I've been there and I've interviewed you for the day, so I know a lot more about this than I do about Joe's. What kind of things is Centennial College offering to students?
Yeah, Centennial is mostly on the repair and maintenance side of the industry. So when cars break down or when they need to be maintained, people have to fix those. And in some cases, the technicians that do that are supplying the parts and managing inventories in the service operations. And in other cases, it's the technicians that are in the service bays that are doing the repairs.
We call them technicians now, not mechanics. Is that right?
It's funny because I started out as a mechanic, and I'm still kind of fond of the term mechanic. Yeah, people understand what it is, but I think the term technician, it reflects just all of the new technologies and all of the higher skills that are required now that didn't exist when I started.
And I think that's probably really important because it has changed a lot since you were on the wrenches, I'm guessing.
Yes. And as I got into training and teaching the new systems, I saw the evolution and just the problem-solving skills that people need now, and the amazing opportunities that people may start out as a technician, but they may end up owning their own business. They may move into the service counter, move into management, end up as dealer principals and owning dealerships or aftermarket repair facilities. But the technicians where they start in a lot of cases in the service side of the business. And so we train them as technicians and provide either apprenticeship training or even for students that can't find a dealer or a repair center to take them on as an apprentice. We have programs right at a high school that are full-time programs that'll get them started.
Okay, so flip side, Joe?
Yes.
What do you guys specialize in?
So we're the Automotive Business School of Canada. We're actually located at Barrie, Ontario in Georgian. Mm-hmm. So we specialize on the business side, management, everything from fixed operations, sales, marketing, accounting, but we specialize in the auto industry. So we were actually built by the dealers 31 years ago, mm-hmm. But we work and partner with the dealers across Canada, the manufacturers, as well as the aftermarket parts and service organizations. So as opposed to just the mechanic side, we have people that are doing service advisor, working in the fixed ops side, everything from operations, marketing, and accounting.
So we call this the front of the house and the back of the house when we're thinking about a dealership. Yeah. And a lot of people know you walk in, you buy a car from the front of the house, and then the first time you go in there, they forget who you are, and because now you're being taken care of by the back of the house.
Yes.
And I tell people not to take it personally because they have a lot of work to do in their own designated areas. But with all the changes going on, the people in the middle need to be able to talk to both sides to explain things to that consumer or customer. And I know you must have courses that kind of braid into they have to understand that side, and I know, Alan, you do as well. So how do you teach somebody who maybe knows they want to go into marketing in the automotive industry?
Okay.
How do you make them interested or aware that they have to understand some of the gearhead stuff as well?
Well, that's part of what we try and instill. So they will take some tech courses while they're with us. Okay. Nothing too in depth from the mechanic side, but we also focus on a lot of soft skills. So being able to communicate properly, understand the back end side of what a mechanic is doing and what a consumer is looking for. So the nice thing for marketing, they'll understand what the consumer is looking for. They'll take consumer behavior. They'll just be able to expand a little bit more on some of the mechanics and bridge that gap really for the back end side.
Alan, you work closely with a lot of the major manufacturers because they want to make sure that they're being trained, they're getting kids trained on their stuff. And because it's changing so quickly, when I was at Centennial, it's about a year and a half ago now, maybe 2 years ago, I was a brand new car, it's like they're giving you this stuff to work on, and it's in their best interest to have you work on it. But there's apprenticeship programs and there's scholarship stuff from the manufacturers, so they're hands-on.
We've got partnerships with most of the major manufacturers so that their dealers' apprentices come in and work on their technologies. And then in other cases, people who aren't affiliated with the manufacturer yet can still come into regular programs and have access to all brands. And the interesting thing is that I think when you talk about bringing both sides of the industry together, the front end and the back end, we hear the same thing from employers, in that the soft skills are just so important in being able to deal with customers and being able to deal with each other and problem solving, teamwork, just so that the customer is taken care of and isn't dropped when both sides of the organization say, no, they should be looking after you, and they say, no, they should be looking after you. So we have courses like fixed operations management built into our diploma programs, communication in the automotive industry, so people understand how the industry really works and how we can take care of customers, because everyone wants loyal customers that'll keep coming back.
I try and stress to young people who are thinking about the automotive industry, males and females, that sometimes if you don't want to be back there on the wrenches, we still need people with a range of skills. And what previously, if you went to your mechanic and he stood there and said, "'Cause it needs fixing," and that's it, do it or don't do it, and that's not acceptable anymore, and people aren't going to put up with that, or it's not always the answer. Like, they need someone in between. So I'm trying to push more women into the industry.
Yeah.
Do both your schools, are you welcoming to bringing in more girls? Like me, would you like to see more girls coming into? It's a great industry to work in. I can vouch for that. Tell your girls it's awesome. I would really like to see them playing more of a role, because there are so many roles now.
Yes, and we see women come through on the business side. We are male dominated. We put a focus trying to get more women in. I'm not sure, maybe it's the fast cars, and I don't understand where the disconnect is, especially on the business side of things. But I think there's been a history of more male domination.
Oh, it's definitely male dominated. But
it's starting to come around, and you're starting to see more female CEOs. So I think there's a mind shift that's happening, and we're starting to see a little bit of growth as well.
I think I would just like to, all kids, like, I don't care what you're doing. I've got sons, but I would love them to understand how fascinating this industry can be and how much fun. I never thought I'd end up working here. It's so much fun. Like, it's the opportunities. There's so many opportunities, and there's so many things you can do. And I know when we were talking about all the manufacturers that are on board, if math and that skill set and engineering, but you don't want to go to the four-year programs necessarily, you want to see the results sooner, this is the kind of place to be bringing those. Now at Centennial, where do your students come from? Where do you draw from?
We have a variety of transportation programs. So in ones, when we get into trucks and heavy equipment and aviation, we're bringing students in from all over the province. But I would say for automotive, we're the largest in Canada, so we have about 1,200 automotive students at any given time in a variety of apprenticeship and post-secondary programs. But our largest drawing area is just around the Greater Toronto area. Right across the country, automotive technician is probably the number one or the number two trade in pure numbers and pure needs for people, and that's what drives our numbers and makes it so large. It's a huge industry, and with people retiring and moving into other opportunities, we always need new people coming in. The interesting thing that you said about women, though, is the shop floor is the last place where we still haven't seen the numbers really grow, and so one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to bring younger students in and give them trade sampler days, or try a trade day, or a program, bring them into a program for even in some cases a week during reading week. A high school will bring a whole class in by the time they're in high school, quite often, people have chosen where they're going. We're working with grade 7, 8s, and 9 students now where you get a class that's half female, and they see something that it's just cool.
Well, it's new.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe some of my female colleagues and I have to do a better job of bringing some of these kids in. The Lemonade Car Show, brought to you by OMVIC, Ontario's motor vehicle sales regulator, returns after this short break. When we come back, we'll be taking your calls, 800-968-7836.